Hi guys, Adam here. I'm with Stephen House and we're outside Old Trafford on Sir Matt Busby Way. Manchester United 4, Wigan 0, standard scoreline against Wigan. Now, I've spoken about Anthony Marshall, I've spoken about everything else with everyone else. But Steve, start of the season, Axel Tuanzebe starts for United against Wigan. Did you think we'd see him again this season? Well, I think you said he might make his debut, didn't you?
I said he would be the player that makes his debut out of all of them that we've got, if anyone was going to make it, but I didn't really hold much hope that he was going to. I said a couple of weeks ago, I think we've changed Jose Mourinho. I think that you could see that Jose Mourinho had started doing things a little bit differently and starting to get the United way of doing stuff. Today he gave 2 debuts out, mate. 2 debuts, and what's good
one
about
of them,
it,
Pereira, he didn't have to.
No, he didn't. I didn't have to give Tuanzebe, in all honesty. But it's good that Tuanzebe's been knocking on the door. He's the captain of the under-23s. He's not tested at 23 level. It's easy for him. He needs a challenge. He needs someone to put a bit of pressure on him and find out exactly how good this kid is. Because everyone thinks he's good, but the proving ground is in there in the first team game in front of 75,000 people. Today, he didn't put a foot wrong, did he?
Do you think there's a worry that we could lose some of our best younger players? When you look at what Sean Goss has had to do, 21 years old, you can't knock him, he needs first team football. Yes, we've got a buyback clause in that. But are you scared that that could be the future where our best young players are just sent off on glorified loan deals with buybacks and not given opportunities? Were you scared of that?
Yeah, I am, but this has happened for years and years and years. If you look how many debuts Sir Alex Ferguson gave out in the latter years of his reign, it was barely any. There was a lot of players left Sir Alex Ferguson that we all had high hopes for. I mean, even in the side that we saw with...
Say no names, Pogba.
Paul Pogba's one of them. But even in that Paul Pogba side, you had Jesse Lingard, you had Ryan Tunnicliffe who was back here today. I didn't even realise he'd signed for Wigan.
Reece James on the bench.
You had all of these sort of players. You have you had the likes of John Coffey in that side. You had Larnell Cole in that side. They was lads who looked amazing at under 18s level. But that's not where you've got to look amazing. That's not what you've got to do. You've got to do it right there. And you can only do it if you're given the opportunity. Sean wasn't given the opportunity. Goss wasn't given the opportunity. Him and Tuanzebe were the 2 players that you thought, if anyone was getting a debut this year, that was them 2. And the reason that them 2 was going to be the ones is because them 2 was the first ones that Louis van Gaal named on the bench last season. And they was the ones that didn't get their opportunity. If they'd have got their opportunity, they might be as part of the first team squad as Rashford is. They might have made as many appearances last season as Fosu Mensah did. But that's the look, and that's how it falls, isn't it?
I was speaking with my lads after podcasts that I do, and I was chatting to them. And me, before today, I've been wound up. What's he doing with Marshall? And why haven't we seen Timothy Fosu Mensah yet? Why haven't we seen these guys play? Why hasn't he freshened up the team? I felt against Hull he had the perfect opportunity to do that. He didn't. Countless times, Northampton, Zoya twice. We've had opportunities to do that and he hasn't. Today he did. And I'm glad he's done that. But do you think he will continue to do that?
I think the result today is going to give him the confidence to do that. And as we spoke about the confidence in the likes of Fosu Mensah, knowing that he can come in and he can do a job and he's not got to worry about what's going to happen, because I think Jose likes to eliminate as much risk out of football games as possible. He's meticulous in his planning, he's meticulous in his scouting, he's meticulous in how he sets his teams up. So I think to eliminate as much risk as possible, he needs to know as much as possible about these players. Now, the fact that he gave Fosu Mensah 90 minutes today, I think is a real big indicator.
He did it, he had to come on.
Well, you know what I mean? He started.
He was gonna though.
He started him, didn't he? Yeah. So the fact that Fosu Mensah was started, I think is a real
I just got there before the comments did, sorry.
Yeah, fair play. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean, don't you? I mean, actually he got 91 because there was a bit of injury time. You know what I mean, don't you? The guy started. That's what I'm talking about. The fact that he started him and he played most of the game, that's what I mean. But anyway, because he started him, because he's seen him, because he's now tested him, this is the perfect proving ground for it. But there was questions about, would he do this? Why hasn't he done this in the past? And we lost our rag a little bit with not the result of Hull, but more the performance at Hull. Because it was a strong team. On paper, you've got Zlatan, you've got Pogba, you've got all of these players, and then you've got Hull dancing through the middle of you, and you're like, what's going on? Where this was a completely refreshed side. First few minutes, I thought Bastian looked like he was a little bit off the pace. He looked like he was a little bit rusty. That's understandable. Same with Luke Shaw. You're looking at a back line there that's got so many new entities into it. And then we're trying to break down a Wigan team, which we said Warren Joyce just comes, and if he does nothing else, he makes it difficult for you to play through him. And he did that. That first goal was going to be absolutely key, and it was. Once we got the first goal in, then in the second half, the goal started coming, the chances started coming. And actually, once we got a few goals under our belt, we started showboating a little bit, and it was good and it was enjoyable to see. That's what we want to see from Manchester United. Turn up, blow teams away, and then start looking, trying to find it. Yeah, and do one. Happy days. But yeah, massive congratulations to Tuanzebe today. It was one that I thought if he doesn't get a debut, then he's going to go and you might have another Pogba situations on your hands. That's how highly he is rated. I've never seen a young defender so composed. I've never seen one so confident in his own ability in terms of being able to play the ball out. His defending is so instinctive and so tough and hard. He is the complete package as a defender.
I think Tuanzebe is Jose's one. Because Fosu had made his debut. All these lads have made their debut. Tuanzebe is the one. He's name checked about 5 times this season.
Now he's debuted him.
And he's debuted him. I think his little project, like.
If you look at the way Fergie obviously debuted several players prior to hitting up on the class of '92 lads. Fosu Mensah might be them, and it might be that he ends up having a blind spot with him. And if that's the case, isn't it? I mean, Giggs. At the last stage of his career, Scholes in the last stage of his career, Gary Neville in the last stage of his career, under Sir Alex, there was a blind spot there. They could still do no wrong even if they was having poor games because they was his babies that had been with him forever. They'd been in every dressing room for 20 years with him. And I think if Jose's going to be that legacy sort of manager, he needs to have legacy.
If he gets one of those players, he keeps Rashford, he keeps Lingard, and he gets one of them Tuanzebes, that record goes on then for another 10 years, so
since 1937 I think it is, and that's one thing that when people say, oh, you just want us to play under 18s, we don't want us to play
before
under 18s.
Your dad was born.
We want Manchester United to do what Manchester United does, and Manchester United, like it or not, is built on the foundation of youth. Nobody comes close to the record that we've got of having 80 odd years of consecutive academy homegrown products in the first team squad. Now you can be City and you can be Chelsea and you can be whoever you want, mate. It's all about Manchester United plays youth, and the good thing is that we've managed to stay at the top and competitive for all that time while playing youth at the same time. And I'm not saying I would rather see us lose and play youth players all the time, because obviously it's a combination of the two, and that's what makes it so special, is that we do win things, but we also win it by bringing through young players who are the heart and soul of the club. And today that tradition's going on again because Jose Mourinho has actually done something for the good of the club rather than just to benefit him right now. He might not be here when Tuanzebe actually breaks into the first team proper. If you look at his past record, he might be gone in 2-3 years. I hope he doesn't. I hope he's actually finding.
He's not suggesting he's off, by the way, guys. So you just calm down, yeah. Stephen thinks he's gonna do one after 2 years. Shut up.
Saying, looking at his track record.
Who was your man of the match today, by the way?
Thought Rojo was very good today.
And will Marshall start on Wednesday?
Yeah, I heard you talking to a few people before saying that he told him if he plays well, he's going to start. I think he obviously has got a little bit of work to do to get used to playing back centre forward again after playing so long on the left. But it could have also been the fact that Wigan made it so difficult and made no space for him. It might be an entirely different thing against the team that comes for us, but are Hull going to come for us? I wouldn't have thought so. It could go either way against Hull on Wednesday. It's going to be an interesting one to find out, I think. But yeah, I would say I thought Rojo was probably my man of the match. The fact that he's got a rusty Smalling, he's got a rusty Luke Shaw, and he's got an inexperienced Fosu Mensah, and he kept that back line marshalled excellently today. I didn't think he was in danger at all, apart from when Romero tried to make it interesting for 5 minutes.
Hold tight, Romero. Straight after someone on Full Time Devils had tweeted the best backup goalkeeper in the world. It was made for today, wasn't it? Right then, on to player ratings. Now, last week, Andy Tate went mental on his player ratings. Now, I don't know what happened there, but hopefully these are going to be a bit better today. Steve, Sergio Romero.
At 9.
Is that because he's the best backup goalkeeper in the world?
I can't actually remember him conceding a goal. I think he might have conceded one against Hull. Maybe, I don't know. When was the last time he conceded a goal? Nah, 7. He didn't.
Someone tweet Steve and tell him when, just so he gets annoyed that he's got 1,000 people telling him. This was when Romero scored conceded the last goal. Luke Shaw on his return.
7, solid.
Timothy Fosu Mensah gets a 10, and we'll move on from that.
Obviously.
Then we're going to Smalling. Goal today, but average performance probably.
I don't think he did anything wrong. Again, a 7. Unspectacular. Didn't really have anything to do. Didn't really have any mistakes.
Rojo's your man of the match.
Yeah, I'm going to say he gets an 8. Quite middle of the road.
So it's mad how, man of the match Rojo's got less than Timothy Fosu Mensah, but you know that makes sense. Fellaini.
Do you know what? Let's talk about Fellaini a little bit here, right? Because
are you going to do what Tate does?
No, I'm not going to give him a 2. I'm going to give him a 6. But
he scored today, by the way.
I know
opening goal.
Yeah, I know he did. But I don't understand what he's doing. When you look at the team, I like to see the patterns of play, and it's quite symmetrical how we play sometimes, and you see the fullbacks over this side and the fullbacks over this side, and you look at the mirroring wherever it is, and Fellaini's just doing his own thing. Honestly, he's just wherever he wants to go. He was in the space that Schweinsteiger was trying to occupy. He was in the space that Rooney was trying to occupy, and he just seems to get in the bleeding way.
Do you know when you ask for a number, guys, and some geezer gives you a whole 3-5 paragraph?
So 6. You don't know what he does.
I know I missed out the number 4 there. Perfect guy to be doing player ratings, aren't I? Do you want to give him a 1 or a 7 out of 10? There's no other options. Right, who we on next? Bastian Schweinsteiger with his overhead kick, his unorthodox overhead kick.
Again, a 6.5, 7. I thought he was a little bit rusty at first. Some of the balls that he played to no one was just a little bit of a breakdown in communication, I think, with him, because he's obviously not used to playing with everybody at the moment. But he also marshalled the line well.
It's like having a few new signings there today.
It was, yeah. So, yeah, it was solid without being spectacular again.
Juan.
I thought Juan had a good game. I'm going to say 7.5.
Mickey.
I'm going to say make it 8. Wasn't quite man of the match, but I thought things was happening with him. He was running, he was making things happen. I thought he linked the play up nice. I thought it was a foul in the first half. I mean, did you see what I'm talking about? It's like, that'd have been a foul in rugby. I don't know why it wasn't a foul in football. He got completely cleaned out. I haven't seen a replay of it, but my gut instinct was that was a penalty and he got taken out. So, whatever.
Yeah, it was a penalty, stupid ref. Tony Marshall?
Again, 8.
Wayne Rooney.
7.5. There was a couple of real nice touches from Rooney. Kept the play moving nicely, kept it motoring around, good interplay. I think 4-2-3-1 with Rooney behind the striker gives us quite a lot of options. Something maybe to look at for when Carrick isn't playing, I think. He's bringing Rooney in for the work rate and that you get at that number 10 position. So, yeah, maybe 7.5.
Joel Pereira.
10.
Tuanzebe.
10.
And who was the other sub? Herrera. 10. 10. 10. 10. Right, guys, thank you. That's been the player ratings and Stephen Harrison's thoughts on the game. We're going to get out of here. See you later.